Good evening, YouTube. HeirofCarthage here, and welcome to an FFA battle in Total War Warhammer 2. This video is a special request by Vinsul, who was dumping out all kinds of generosity on me during a stream, and I felt like doing a special video for him, and he requested that I do an FFA playing as the Greenskins. Not a strong faction for me, and especially not an FFA, but I am happy to do it for him. And in order to get on an entertaining theme, I've gone Gobbo Great Shaman and an entire Goblin army. So I believe that I have four Spider Riders, and I've got 4 units of Squig Hoppers. And then there's my Gobbo Great Shaman. He's got Itchy Nuisance, Sneaky Stabbin', Gork'll Fix It, and I believe one more that I'll remember when I get a chance. I don't remember right now. I've got 4 Skulkers. So yeah, we got them ready to go. They have some interesting abilities that I totally forget to use. I always forget that they have this smoke bomb, and it's very important that you use it with the Skulkers, and I typically forget. So I've also got 4 Night Gobbo Archers, one of which is the Rusty Errors. I wanted everything to be Vanguard deployed, and so that's exactly what I've done here, but you can see that Regina has also Vanguard deployed all of her troops. Now, I've also got a bunch of Night Goblins. I have the 8-Peak Loonies, which is a Gobbo Fanatic, and 2 standard ones, and then we've got the Warlords boys. Here's my my other Spider Rider, a couple of Squig Hoppers, and that's my army. Let's check out Regina. She's got a Wild Hunters of Kurnos, a Sisters of the Thorn. There's going to be a Waywatcher and a Deepwood Scout supported by a Waystalker. Yeah, Waywatcher, Waystalker, got it right. And then I figured I would see Dryads from her, and I did. It's a typical unit for her to bring. She's got some Hawk Riders and a Glade Lord on an Eagle, and then a Spellsinger, Lore of Shadows, and she's going to have Penumbral Pendulum and I believe Enfeebling Foe. So a relatively small army from the Wood Elves, but it's going to be spread out, intended to do some damage on the flanks. There's 3 more Dryads. The Skaven have 4 Warplock Jezzails, no surprise, as that is a pretty smart pick for an FFA battle. It's going to be a couple of Clan Rat Spears, and then a main line of Clan Rats, including the Clan Vulcan Tail Slashers. We're going to get 2 units of Doom Flayers supporting Icket, who is also riding his Flayer. Flayers got nerfed a little bit with their mass and stuff in the last patch, but they are still wickedly good for the price, and they never fixed the hitbox on the Doom Flayers, so they're still very hard to hit. And honestly, that probably would have been the better fix rather than worrying about their mass or other stuff, because they are difficult to kill. And they still are. And we've also got the Reptile King joining us for this one. He is deployed out here with Heinrich Kemmler astride his Undead Warhorse. There is a Mortis Engine here, a Terrorgeist, and there's going to be some Black Knights supporting in the back. The front line has the Stearnsman, and then it looks like 4 standard Graveguard units, 2 Spearmen, a couple of Zombies to break a charge up front, and then hidden in the woods are the Dire Pack and some Dire Wolves. Dire Pack are always a solid choice, and Dire Wolves can be quite handy as well. As soon as the battle began, I saw Regina's deployment, and I had instant fear. Fear for my life, but hey, when you're a Goblin, you only live once. And so we're just going straight in. It's not going to be pretty, but it doesn't matter. YOLO. YOLO! So we're going to get in here, try and cause as much damage as we can. I'm going to bring my reinforcing troops. Fortunately for me, one of my units, I think it's the 8-Peak Loonies, yeah, they're unbreakable. So that'll actually be really handy. Dryads are going to be really good against Goblins. So probably should have thought about that as I was forward deploying against Elf player that is notorious for using Dryads. Yeah, you know, but since when does Air think? We're going to look cool doing what we do. Yeah, Dryads will do pretty darn decent in this fight. Pretty decent. Their physical resistance should help out nicely. The Warplock Jezzails are going after the Glady. She better get herself clear of that. And then, obviously, the Wild Hunters of Kurnos are not an easy target, especially when they're supported by the Sisters of the Thorn. Yeah, and I gotta be careful here because my units are fairly close to a white line, but fortunately my Forest Goblin Spider Riders did come back from routing. And this is also kind of a weird situation because there hasn't really been a good opportunity for me to use the WA. And I actually found out, and I don't remember when it changed, but the WA only recharges if you're in melee. That's absolutely crippling to Wurzag, great Gobbo Shaman, and, you know, several other lords for the Greenskins, really, when the WA is such an important part of their army. So I guess it would almost necessitate that you bring a, like a lore of the big WA, too, or something, so you can get Here We Go or something. Anyway, I was able to push back the Hawk Riders. My reinforcements are still coming. I'm not in a good position here. Regina is racking up points early, but then Ikit starts racking them up as well. And then right here, a very nice pendulum that I caught a little bit too late. Should have been able to move, but didn't quite get it. I was getting in here trying to finish these Dryads real quick. I figured that this charge would quickly rout them. And much to my chagrin, because of what happened with the pendulum, it didn't work. Didn't work. Alright, my 8 peak loonies are up here, and again, they're unbreakable, so that actually works out really great for me. They kept a whole bunch of units busy. And then I'm going to get in here, and I'm going to use this Gorkle Fix-It to make it harder for the Eagles to get out of that fight and to charge into the fight. And I'm going to swing in with all my cavalry, try and hold people here until I can get my reinforcement troops up here. But because those 2 Dryads didn't rout, they get right in the way of my entire army, and these Dryads, despite not having stellar leadership, hung on for an incredible amount of time over there. So I go ahead and use WA so that I can start doing some damage with the units that I do have in melee. I desperately need to do some damage to get some points on the board. And finally we're getting a little bit. And I was kind of hoping to maybe pin what's left of Regina's troops up over here. See if we can finish while Reptile King is keeping the Skaven busy. Those Jezzails are going to be a nasty mess to deal with. You can see Kimmler is already busy trying to deal with it. Ooh, a brass orb on the Sternsman. Didn't catch them great there. That Warp Lightning is just going to be vicious, and it's going to just feed Ikit Claw points. So Skaven are in a pretty good position right now. I'm going to take another just very well-placed Pendulum here from Regina Spellsinger, who's racked up 160 kills thanks to that Pendulum. So I've paid a dear price for my attack on the elves, and retrospectively, I should have deployed against the Skaven, but Regina would have been right there anyway, so I just would have ended up fighting elves. So one way or the other. At this point, the Jezzails look to be in pretty bad shape, but if they can get some support, they might be able to pull out of it. But yeah, the Jezzails are in rough shape over here. Reptile King is full-on assailing the Skaven, and the only hope for the Skaven really is the Doom Flayers and that Warp Lightning. If the Terrorgeist could somehow get a hold of these Flayers, that'd probably be a best-case scenario, but it's going to be hard to pin them down. The Anti-Large and Armor-Piercing, though, Terrorgeist should do a lot of damage. Howling Warp Gale. So yeah, never mind. Ikit's going to be able to control the Terrorgeist nicely. The Skaven are going to rout. Going to be thoroughly defeated here, but chances are they'll be back because Ikit Claw is not dead. Meanwhile, on my front, I finally get rid of a Spellsinger. After all that work, I get rid of like one Spellsinger. Regina right now is in the lead. She's done really well, considering that she was outflanked, double outflanked. So, very notable performance from Regina right now. Nasty Warp Lightning from Ikit. He is just going to be a big pain in the butt rolling around on that Doom Wheel. Or Doom Flayer, my bad. See, it's going to be hard to get hits in on him as well. Yeah, another Howling Warp Gale. Howling Warp Gale is a really good spell for Skaven if you want to keep units up off you like that. I haven't used any of the ammo on my archers, and if I can probably make up a fair bit of points, so that's what I'm going to move into position to do. And Heinrich Kimmler over here. Glade Lord. So I'm going to use my Gobbo archers, put a little bit of damage down onto the vampires. Just see what I can kill over here. I'm getting so very little points for damage over here when I fire into them. I noticed that I was getting almost no points for anything that I did to the vampires. I don't know if it's just because my missiles weren't hitting or what, but sometimes I swear I was doing damage and not getting points for it against the vampires. So now a bunch of Graveguard are headed my direction, and I don't have a whole lot of troops left for this. The Warp Lightning is just going to be very, very nice for the Skaven. I didn't see this happening either. Here comes a Wind of Death that just beautifully ruins my infantry line from Reptile King. Curse you, Kimmler! I was focused on the Mortis engine and just did not even notice the Wind of Death. So Kimmler's going to roll in there with some nice points that he's going to get. But I'm not gone yet. I've still got my my Warlord. So I'm going to bring my Spiders and Squig Hoppers and get in here and surround Kimmler. He should have a very difficult time escaping this because he doesn't have very good mass, and I've thrown a bunch of units at him that have a little bit of mass, and he's being poisoned. So theoretically, it should be difficult for Kimmler to escape, except for that he's kind of like right here on the edge, and he's going to use his zombies there. So unfortunately, I think he probably will get out of there. The Terrorgeist was going to come get me, but the Jezzails had returned, and this is fortunate for me because the last thing I need right now is a Terrorgeist. It would come over here and terror bomb all these troops and I'd be routed. So fortunately, the Jezzails and other units get the attention of that Terrorgeist, and I don't have to suffer its wrath at this moment. I'm getting some points back, but I'm still solidly in last place, which is probably where an all-goblin army under my command belongs. And then here comes a greased-up Kimmler escaping from the fight. Of course he escapes. Vampire Lords are like the most slippery lords in the game. They are like a greased pig, and you're just trying to hold on, and you can't do it. So now that the Skaven have regrouped, the Vampires aren't in a good position to take them down, and the Vampires are going to suffer mightily at the hands of the Skaven. I really want a piece of Kimmler for what he did to my infantry, but it's going to be difficult to do. That Mortis engine will chain route any of my infantry that gets up and engages it right now. My Skulkers ought to trade pretty decently, honestly, with Graveguard. It won't be bad for me. I don't know if they'll win the fight, but it won't be a bad trade. As soon as I started charging, that was kind of when I remembered what I just said. I was like, oh crap, I really don't want to be charging anywhere near a Mortis engine. But my guys didn't turn around. Yay. They finally got another order. And look, they chain routed just from being anywhere close to that Mortis engine. Fortunately for me, the Jezzails are going to finish it. Unfortunately for me, I don't get points for what the Jezzails finish. That would be nice, but not going to happen. Reptile King is solidly in first place right now. I'm sure that Winds of Death gave him several thousand points all at once. Probably quite nice. I've still got a lot of ammo though, so I need to keep my cavalry alive, and if I can get in a decent position, expend my ammo, I can definitely get back into this fight, especially if I can survive to the last. Probably the biggest two threats to me on the battlefield right now are the Terrorgeist and these Doomflayers. I can't really handle either of those, so it'd be great if they could kill each other for me. And it looks like the Terrorgeist is kind of getting some of that right now because of the Jezzails that are picking at it. Those Doomflayers, though, are going to be a mess. I went ahead and used Gork'll Fix-It over here on Kimmler. And I want you all to look at this. I'm unloading onto Kimmler. He's losing hit points like crazy. Look at my score. It's not moving at all. I thought you got points for damage done. Does anybody know why that's happening? Is that a bug? Or do you only get points if you kill the unit? But I was pretty sure that you got points for damage. Maybe it's just kills. If it's just kills, then man, that kind of stinks. Like, because if someone picked off the last hit point of a lord, it's just weird. Is it supposed to be working like that? Anyway, it was odd. And I'm not really sure what was causing it. My last few 8-peak loonies are still fighting. I'm going to get some Skulkers. Again, I forgot about their smoke bomb, which is a huge mistake. I should have been using that the entire battle. And it could have been quite effective in a variety of situations. But again, the Skulkers have done some work for me. They've been worth it. I'm gonna have to pull back my archers and then use my cavalry to charge this Graveguard. I do have armor piercing with my Squig Hoppers, fortunately, so I'll be able to do tremendous damage to Graveguard as long as I don't stay in combat too long. So I'm gonna fall back, get into better position, especially if I get behind this hill. It should shelter me from the Jezzails. The Terrorgeist got pinned down on combat back here and got picked apart. So the Terrorgeist is going to be out, but we've still got Doomflayers to deal with. And no one here really has great stuff to deal with Doomflayers. They're a nightmare. I felt like when CA nerfed them, it was the wrong nerf. I just, like, it's not going to be the end of the world, but I felt like this whole patch that CA did just, I mean, this is a personal opinion. You don't have to agree with me, and I'm not dissing you if you don't, but I feel like that what they did in this patch was almost entirely pointless. I didn't like hardly any of it. In fact, I'm trying to remember if there was even one thing that I really agreed with. I think there was. I don't remember what it is at this moment, but I was not impressed with the changes that they made in this patch. I thought that what they addressed was not really what should have been addressed. Jezzail's, if anything, I feel like... I know they took a little bit of a nerf on... I can't remember if it was like a block chance or something. I don't remember what it was. Maybe it was armor. Maybe they lost a little bit of armor. I can't remember. It was one of the two. They took a little bit of a nerf there, but they actually fixed the issue with their projectiles at long range, which kind of just made them stronger because now they're going to hit better at the end of their range. So it was just odd. And I'm not saying that Jezzail should have taken a massive nerf per se. I'm just, you know, again, it was weird. I didn't understand what CA was up to. And look, I shot up those Sternsmen real bad too. No points. I got no points for what I just did to those Sternsmen. Again, does anybody understand that? I'm confused. And even like, look, right here, I'm going to attack Sternsmen. You can watch them. They're losing units. See that? And now they're crumbled. I shouldn't get points for the crumble, but even the damage I did, no points. So, just very strange. I couldn't figure that out during the battle. Anyway, I'm pretty much doomed here because the Doom Flayers. I have no way to deal with the Doom Flayers unless I use Gork'll Fix It. Then I may be able to slow them down enough to try and shoot them. But again, their hitbox is quite small, and it's difficult to shoot them. I do have a unit of Skulkers that came back over here. And then Heinrich Kemmler is left over here in the forest. I was thinking maybe I could get a quick hit on him, but the Doom Flayers are close. And I forgot that he probably still has magic for lightning, so you don't want to be blobbed anytime they're around Skaven with lightning. And Kemmler just came in and got a really good shot here because my units didn't charge him. For some reason there, it was just my Lord. And he came in and took a nasty jab from the Vampire Lord. Again, look, no points for the damage being done to Kemmler. See that? There's damage going and nothing. I used Gork'll Fix It just to keep these guys away from me, and it worked. But, yeah, you can see from right there that my guys just got doomed. I saw it coming, ran, but it was too late. You really don't have time to run from the lightning when your guys are engaged like that. It comes too quickly. So my guys routed because of it, and, yeah. That's actually going to rout my Lord because he's being pursued by Kemmler. So now I don't have Gork'll Fix It, which means I have no prayer whatsoever against these Doom Flayers. So despite the fact that I have a lot of ammo and could cause a tremendous amount of damage, without my Lord, it is all for naught. So, rip me. Anyway, look, I decided to shoot up Kemmler a whole bunch more. Look at this, all the damage done, not a single point. I just don't understand it. I guess shooting Kemmler, like being undead, gets you no points. Anyway, I'm going to get charged by the Doom Flayers. My leadership is practically gone, so there's no hope for me. Look, I finally got 1 point from something. I don't know what it was. But it looks like Kemmler is going to end up just crumbling. I'm going to try and do a little damage. Let's see if I get points when I hit the Flayers. Well, if you can hit Flayers. Yeah, see? Look at that. Points shooting up from just damaging the Flayers, but I wasn't getting any points for some of the vampire stuff. Is there a bug? If so, we need to make it CA's attention. That was really strange. I knew I wasn't crazy. I was pretty sure you got points for damage. Anyway, this is going to end up being a victory for Ikitclaw. The question is he going to get enough points to pull ahead of Reptile King, who has a very commanding lead right now. So, sorry, Vinsul, I'm not going to win it with the Greenskins, but I tried to bring a very entertaining Greenskin army for you, which was an all-Gobbo Vanguard schemes and plotting type army. So hopefully you enjoyed it. If not, you can let me know, and I'll try and bring you another Greenskin FFA. Let's take a look at the stats. So, Ikitclaw did win by a few hundred points there. He managed to pull ahead with the last man standing bonus. Reptile King's forces all crumbled, which, I mean, that's what happens with vampires when you get defeated. There are no routers. But Reptile King, great job here with some of his troops, getting a lot of kills all throughout it. Kemmler, of course, with that Wind of Death, really getting some good stuff for Gina and her Spellsinger, absolutely owning. And honestly, in some ways, Regina kind of wins MVP here for being able to hold out against a double outflanking for as long as she did. It was actually quite impressive, and always fun to see her elf builds. And then Claw with his Skaven ends up running us all over and dropping the Warp Lightning all over us himself with 154 kills. The Doomflayers doing quite nicely through there, and for me, my damage was done too late. Some part of me almost thinks that maybe it would have been better for me to deploy, because all my troops were Vanguard. A lot of them had stock. I could have deployed in such a way that all of my units were hidden and no one knew where I was at, and then just waited for the right opportunity to attack, and then use my spell that helps make units unspottable. So that may have been the better way for me to play that type of ambushy style, especially whenever I have a lot of weak infantry like that going into an FFA. But it was fun. I might tinker around with that build some other time just for the kicks. I don't think it's going to be good against a lot of factions, but I picked it to be fun and to see how it turned out, and that's how it turned out. So Vinsul, hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for all the support, man. You are fantastic. Thank you to everybody else who supports the channel. Thank you for being here. If you did enjoy the video, it really helps me out if you want to leave a like. And please feel free to go down to the comments. Tell me what you think I did wrong with the Gobbo army. I mentioned quite a few things I did wrong. What would you have done differently? Hope to hear from you all. HeirofCarthage signing out for now.